Hello, and welcome back to the 501c TV podcast in collaboration with Nonprofits First. My name is Jenell, and I will be your host today as we explore the stories, impact, and leadership behind some of our wonderful nonprofits here in Palm Beach County. And I'm very excited to have with me today Renee Constantino, who is the Senior Vice President of Impact at United Way of Palm Beach County. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. This is wonderful to know.
So I have to say, we were just talking off camera a little bit about, everyone has heard of, I'm sure, seen, recognizes the name United Way, and you guys just do so much. So today I would love to kind of go through all those wonderful things that you guys are doing in the community and just talking a little bit about the impact that you're making, and then also some of the events that you have going on and how we can all support all the initiatives that you guys have going on. So with that being said, I will let you explain who is United Way of Palm Beach County.
So a lot of people have a lot of opinions of what United Way is.
Yes.
We're not only a funder. In fact, we prefer not to be considered a funder. We're actually the organization that brings everybody together to help solve problems, to heighten awareness about the issues going on in our community. But we also have amazingly generous donors who help us support those agencies to try and solve some of these.
Yeah, and so maybe you could break down a little bit just so we understand kind of like the umbrella of United Way, because so there's United Way, and then underneath you guys are how many organizations that you support, right?
Well, we support over 100, but quite frankly, the amount of organizations that interact with us is well over 100.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's a ripple effect, honestly.
Yeah, which is very interesting. So, let's talk about a little bit of the different areas that United Way focuses on. So, issues like hunger, education, housing. What are some of those, and how does United Way kind of address those?
Okay. You say hunger, and I'm going to start there.
Yeah.
Because we are the backbone for the Hunger Relief Initiative. And what that does is it's a collaborative that brings together not only different partners in the funding world, but also all of the providers, but also some of the people. The initiative started 10 years ago. We're about to actually go into community conversations because 10 years ago, hunger looked a whole lot different than it does today.
I was going to say, we could have a whole segment, podcast just on that initiative alone. So I'm always so impressed by all the things that I see and hear you guys doing in the community, because it's a lot.
Well,
it's behemoth.
And it's a lot out there. With hunger, and that's been very heightened lately, especially with the changes in the federal programs.
Yes.
But part of the problem for us in Palm Beach County is people think we are so wealthy.
Yes.
There cannot possibly be hungry people, homeless people.
Correct.
People just trying to get a job. And one of the populations as we define what we serve is called Alice. And one of the things, we had a wonderful luncheon last week, and they had set it up so you walked through these different, almost like billboard type things, and a staff member would walk you through it. So when they got to me, I would say, "Do you know Alice?" And of course, people will say, "Yeah, I know Alice." And I say, "But do you know what Alice means?"
Right.
And the whole point of it is asset limited, income constrained, but employed.
Wow.
So
Yes.
and what that means is 11% of our population live at the poverty level. Then there's another 35% of our population that live in this Alice no man's land, so to speak. Poverty, they have resources, their services, there are things that they are entitled to. Once you step over,
Correct.
then there really isn't anything.
There's no middle ground there to account for that, which, that makes total sense.
And the problem is they're one paycheck, one job loss away from losing everything. And that could be one person or a whole family.
Sure. Yeah, that's a lot. And that alone. So, again, that's just hunger, right?
Yes,
so there's also education and housing and all these other kind of critical needs that we see going on here in Palm Beach County. So, let's talk a little bit about what I read here, you guys invest in over 100 different programs and initiatives.
Yes.
So, how do you approach that systemically to create that change? Like, what does that look like for you guys?
We don't do anything alone.
Mhm.
And so what's happened as we've identified these pillars that we put our funds into, that's a process with our community partners, different assessments. The one thing we do, any of the agencies that we fund have outcomes. So they do have to report
Sure.
how many they served, what was the outcome, what was the improvement. And we use that to say, what is working, what's not working. And it's hard because we can't possibly pay enough agencies to be able to provide the services. So
Sure.
we do really look at how the performance is. And a couple of the programs, if I may.
Yes, please.
Is our mentor program,
Okay.
the Mentor Center. And our Mentor Center under that team coordinates almost 64 agencies, 24 of whom are actually funded. This money comes through the Children's Services Council. And people think of mentoring as something for kids.
Sure.
And one of the things that our Associate Vice President Gwen Williams likes to say is everybody needs a mentor. And so there's the match of the mentors and mentees in different ways. And they have the greatest shirt that has the slogan, mentoring change 2 lives and not one. That has significant impact on kids in different places. One of the other ones is Mission United.
Okay.
Mission United serves our vets who have come back, and here they are in this community. And this community is not easy to be in. Of course, we have the VA hospital. It's a great VA hospital. It doesn't serve all their needs.
Sure.
So our director of that program, Jonathan, basically helps identify other needs: mental health, housing, food, and counseling. The vets have the highest suicide rate.
Yeah.
And in Palm Beach County, we have a very high rate. And so we contract with agencies that can help provide those services outside of the VA.
Yeah, which is awesome. You got that on here. I was going to ask you specifically about that because I think that's so neat. So of all the programs, how are things shifting in our county? Between those different buckets of needs, if you will, like for all the programs that you offer. What have you seen, and what are the changes?
Sure. Because we do touch on different housing. We touch in the hunger, the schools, community health. Right now, because the highest needs are so identifiable, the hunger, the homelessness, the lack of jobs, we start looking at finding what is it that we can support, because we can't do everything.
Right.
The other problem is homelessness is one of the most difficult situations to try and address because of the affordability issue in Palm Beach County.
Yes.
Going back to Alice is also the servers in the restaurants, our teachers. It could be your neighbor.
Yes.
It could be your friend. It could even be one of your family members. And so one of the things we talk about is, as we look, we have a goal 10 in our hunger plan that talks about economic and self-sufficiency. Even though it's in our hunger plan, hunger itself is not going to solve that.
Sure.
So what we do is we start bringing our partners around it. So for jobs, workforce development, for our different children's issues, we bring in CSC. So what we are doing is developing, I guess it's not a work group, but a collective that will start saying, what are the biggest needs? How can we address them? How can we all get around that? And how can we raise the money for it?
Sure.
Because that's the other thing, is raising money.
I know that's
serve more.
that's the other thing. So, and that's why I think, what you guys do is so unique, because, there's a ton of nonprofits out there that all individually address these things, but it's nice because you guys go in and, you can look at people that need help collectively, and kind of pull them apart and say, well, this person or family or group might need this, and this, but everybody's not in the same situation, right? So it's nice because you guys can pull all these different programs and resources, and you're kind of like a one-stop shop, which is so great.
And I think we look at the systemic issues
Yes.
and problems, and you're right. Who do we bring to the table?
Mhm.
I think that was another thing I've heard someone say is we're the quarterback for that.
Totally. Yes.
And there's a lot of responsibility in that too.
Mhm.
And so again, I have to emphasize we have some amazingly generous donors. And we wouldn't be able to do it without them. We also work with the government. We work with Palm Beach County.
Mhm.
We work with the school district, with CSC,
Yep.
to bring these funds in. And one thing that I didn't talk about that actually brings money into our community, directly to the pockets of our community, is our VITA program, which is Voluntary Income Tax Assistance.
Okay.
If you are making under $78,000 in a family, actually an individual, $78,000 is threshold, you can come in and have your taxes done for free.
Oh, that's nice.
The professionals that help them also are very up to date with what the current regulations, what's new come in, what are new benefits, what are new deductions.
That's half the battle. I mean,
It is.
you need the right person to kind of guide you
Right.
and be on your side and look out for you,
Right.
and be like, these are all the things that you can take advantage of that
Yeah.
you wouldn't otherwise know about.
And we bring back in so many millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But the great thing is you get to walk away with that money. That's your money.
Right.
That's not, and that's one of those, you can look at that. That is that close touch. And I've been to sites while they've been processing them. And at first I thought maybe people would be a little worried about giving their information. But I'm going to tell you what, some of them have been coming for years.
Yeah.
And they go straight to their preparer. And it is so wonderful to see.
Yeah. So this specific episode is going to align with July and Independence
Yes.
Day. So how do you define independence? What's a perfect way to define independence, if you could, for the families that you guys serve?
Self-sustainability.
Yeah.
They don't have to depend on anyone else.
Mhm.
That they, like also many of us, know what's going to happen each day,
Mhm.
that their kids are safe, that they're fed.
Yes.
And honestly, it's that freedom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some of your events that you guys do throughout the year. Just a few. Well, we're going to highlight on some of your favorites. So tell me about a few of your upcoming initiatives, why you love them the most, and how you think they best support your mission.
Okay.
Just your favorites.
The one thing I want to tell people to check out
Yeah.
is our landing page. And if you go down to the bottom, you'll start seeing that there are events and there are opportunities.
Perfect.
So I'm not going to be able to remember them all.
No.
But
Just tell me your favorites.
well, one of the things
The ones you love.
that we've talked about is the backpack, back to school backpack.
Okay.
And it is hundreds of people and kids who have the opportunity that would not have the opportunity to basically get completely ready for school. The kids go through different lines, so to speak, for their age.
Oh, that's so fun.
They pick out their backpack.
I love that.
They pick out the color stickies they want. They pick out, and they get all of this. They walk out of there feeling ready, and their parents are always grateful that is one less worry that they have.
I agree, because if anyone's seen the school supply list for the schools,
I haven't in a while.
oh my goodness, they are they're lengthy. So I can understand the stress and the strain, and you want your kids to go to school and feel happy and excited to go back. So I love that they get to go through and pick out their own things.
Yeah.
It's really neat. What about let's talk about the Firecracker 5K.
So that is
sounds
down
fun.
in Boca, and basically it's a patriotic opportunity. It's one of the first events that happens on 4th of July.
Okay.
I walked it last year. Lori and I got the picture of looking like we're running.
Of course.
The end.
Action shot.
Yeah, that, and so many people, and it's not necessarily a veterans event at all.
Sure.
But the people that come out and they do see the people that are there for us, who serve our country, who serve us, who pay the ultimate price.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's down in Boca and at FAU.
Awesome.
You can register.
I love that. Okay. So
And some of the other events, though, just so
yeah.
to tell you, we do a lot of volunteer events. Our volunteer center is very large.
So
And
just getting right ahead of me
well,
here.
good.
I
I'm
love
so
this.
glad.
Yes. Okay. Let's talk about volunteers because that is a huge part about everything that you guys do. So
It is.
I'll let you talk on that.
We would not be able to do what we do without our volunteer center. In fact, this is volunteer month right now. And what we do is agencies, programs will say, we've got this need, we need these many volunteers, we're going to do this. We have corporations like FPL, Florida Blue, NCCI, Target. I know I'm going to miss every single other one. Amazing partners that they say we want to give
Yes.
our employees the opportunity. So we give them the time. They show up wherever they show up. They hit it. It gets done, and you can see them just feeling so
Absolutely.
happy and fulfilled.
Is this a correct stat that I saw here?
360 hours.
Over 360,000 hours of service.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big number.
It's huge.
That's awesome.
Well, and the thing is, there's ongoing events like the gleaning. If you've never done a gleaning out in the glades, you can connect with one of the agencies that does that. It's not real hard because we're going after they've already done the harvesting, but it's amazing when you actually get your hands dirty.
That's so cool.
And this food that you're going to be taking back is going to feed so many families. And people bring their kids. I highly recommend you bring your kids. And one of my favorite pictures is a kid pulling the husk off of an ear of corn, biting in it. And at first they weren't sure they wanted to.
Yeah.
But it was so sweet. They were just like,
oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
So it's also very much a personal opportunity. It's not someone else. Sometimes you're not going to see the end product of what you're doing.
Yes.
But you've got to know how important that is. So again, going to look at our website and see many different opportunities. We have luncheons. We have leadership opportunities that go on throughout the year.
Yeah, I think that's so cool. I saw that that stat and I was like, that is so cool. That's a lot. We have a lot of good people in our county.
Yes, we do.
We're very fortunate.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So let's talk future. United Way is approaching its 100-year anniversary.
Yes.
Is there going to be a big party for this?
Yes. My understanding is we are planning a very big party.
Okay. I would expect nothing less.
Well, and I don't know if most people realize where we started and why we started. United Way has been a concept across our country for a long time. For us in particular, during the 1928 hurricane that basically wiped out the Glades.
Yeah.
So many people came together to help and to start. The disaster was so amazing. They didn't even know where to start to help the needs.
Yeah.
That people started coming together. They pulled people out of everywhere. And what happened is, as you can imagine, having that many people, there wasn't good organization.
Sure.
So United Way was one of the first volunteer organizers that said, here's this group, and then also did fundraising for it. And that still remains at the core of us.
Yeah.
And,
that's so cool.
And disasters today.
I did not know that, but that's really neat. I always like to hear the background of how everything got started. So so with that being said, so we're coming up on 100 years.
Yes.
What does the future hold? Like what do you think is in the next 10 years United Way is hoping to achieve, or maybe a new program that they're looking to put in place?
Right now, again, we're going back into the community, finding out, talking to people what their needs are. And as we move forward, how can we increase our capability to fund more services, to serve more people?
Sure.
So I'm not sure exactly what we're going to uncover as we do this, because we're right at the brink of this. But we continue to have our legacy of this is what we've done in the past, and it's just going to continue to grow. And it's exciting. I have been at the agency now since October 20th, so I just passed my 6 months.
Yay! Congrats!
But I've been working in the community for over 30 years and with United Way. So for me, this is just a great opportunity to see how we continue to look, identify, and come up under and alongside folks.
Yeah. So we talked a lot about being connected to a lot of different organizations to make all the magic happen. How important is it, or what is the connection to nonprofits first that is so important for United Way?
So my history with Nonprofits First goes way back to the beginning of it. And
Okay.
I was one of the funding partners that came together to say, we've got agencies doing great work, but they just need so much help in their administrative side. And slowly but surely created, there was some of the executive core was already there, just kept building it. So United Way, Palm Beach County, and Children's Services Council came together and said, we're going to require this of our agencies. For even the large agency, it was a great opportunity to really dig in and say, what are we missing? What are we not doing? But for me, one of the beauties of it is you have a brand new nonprofit. And as we were talking before,
Yes.
there's so many nonprofits.
There's so many. Yes.
And sometimes they don't know where to go or what to do.
Sure.
And so Nonprofits First really does help them set them up straight and right at the very beginning. And each of these three funders still require it in our contracts.
Yeah, and I think it's so neat too, like Nonprofits First. It's like it's like a collective, and everybody helps everybody. So every event that I go to, as an affiliate, I love because this person over here, has never met this person over here, and then you see them like hook up, and then the wheels start turning, and they're like, oh my gosh, like we should work together, because everybody is trying to do the right thing and all the great things, and there's a lot of overlap, and so it's like, why not pool our resources together and be stronger and better together? So I love that, and I think that's really cool about Nonprofits First. So I wanted to definitely touch on that. And I also want to know, since you've been with United Way of Palm Beach, what's like one of your favorite stories? I always like my guests to come on and give like a story that kind of represents the organization and really what it means to you. So what's one of your favorites?
So that's a hard question because
Narrow down to one.
because we hear stories every day.
I know.
But one of the ones that there was a program I'd never heard of, and it's part of our mentoring program, and it's called the Florida Mentoring Network, formerly known as XL.
Yes.
And in fact, you had to.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And
I love them.
yeah, what they do is amazing. Part of their program works with kids who are either at risk or in the juvenile system.
Yes.
And they allow them the opportunity. They come beside them, make sure they stay with what they're supposed to do so that they can get a clean record. But then they also help them move along to get actual payable or livable wages. They actually get paid as they go through their internships. So the story, I went to their luncheon last year, was right after I started, just learning and hearing. And they honor different graduates that are about to graduate. They had one young man who was dedicated to his job, rode his bike. They had gotten the bike for him, and it didn't matter where he had to go, and always positive, and was doing so good, graduated. Well, one day his bike got stolen.
Oh.
So they gave him an electric bike.
Okay.
It got stolen.
Oh my God.
And they were going to replace it. And he said, no, just give me my bike back. I want that to go to somebody else. I can do what I do, and you've allowed me to do what I do. I don't know why, but that is one story that's impacted me so much.
Yeah.
They do great work.
They really do. It's, gosh, he was one of my favorite guests ever. But again, like, talk about like just getting in there. Like, he's in it every day with them.
Like his wife.
Yes. I mean, direct impact.
Yes.
Like they have to feel so good like every morning when they wake up, because they're just doing such great things. So
well, and their hearts hurt because they can't help them all.
I know, everybody. And so it's a double-edged thing. But yeah, that's great that you guys get to, you get to work with them as well.
Yes.
So it's wonderful. What would you like listeners to take away from our conversation as we come to a close here?
Volunteer. Everybody can do that. If you have the capacity to support our agencies through our funds, which another reason why United Way exists is because there's so many needs. We bring together all the pieces and that quilt of all the different agencies and those donors, and we make sure that that the programs are vetted, that they have outcomes. If people come and join us. We can do so much more. But volunteer, it's one of the easiest things you can do, and there's so many opportunities.
Yeah, and one thing that I think is really cool that also, you know, if you're interested in volunteering, to take away from that is that, you know, you might volunteer and do this on one time or one opportunity, but there are like hundreds of other like avenues, paths, causes, things that you could do at United Way, which I think is really neat. So
Yes,
you'll never be bored, is what I'm saying.
And they're not tied into one single type.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, there's a multitude of things that you could do. So, well, we're almost out of time here, but I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us today. And if we want to follow along, the website you said is probably the best place to go and find all the information. You guys are on socials. I know all that. So if you guys want to follow along and get out there and volunteer, maybe next time we talk, we'll see that number go up. We'll bring those hours of service up to a crazier level than 360,000. That's an awesome stat. And that's it. I really appreciate you being here. And
thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll see you around soon. And we thank you for joining us again on 501c TV. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.